Let's talk about a moment that's just around the corner. A year that might just completely change how we think about technology. We're going to break down what happens in 2026, the year AI really truly gets a job.
Usability expert Jacob Nielsen absolutely nailed it with this quote. The time for just being amazed by AI is over. This is the moment it stops being a cool party trick and starts getting woven into the very fabric of our lives.
So, to get our heads around this huge shift, we're going to look at 5 big transformations. First, why the party trick era is ending. Then, what it means for AI to actually get a job, and how our user interfaces are about to, well, disappear. After that, we'll touch on a pretty serious new digital divide and wrap up with how the AI brain is finally getting a physical body. Okay, first up, the party trick is over. And the big idea here isn't just that AI is getting better. It's that the speed of improvement is hitting a whole new level. It's becoming absolutely relentless. Just look at this timeline. The scale of this acceleration it's just staggering. Nielsen's data shows that back in 2019, an AI could handle about 3 seconds of work on its own. By early 2025, that's already jumped to an hour and a half. But here's the crazy part. By late 2026, it's predicted to handle tasks that would take a human 39 hours. That's a full work week. And by the end of 2027, 2 months of human work. This isn't just progress, it's an explosion in capability. And that leads us right into our main theme, AI gets a job. We are fundamentally shifting from seeing AI as a simple tool we use to AI as a teammate we actually manage. The idea that makes all this possible is something called a delegative UI. And the best way to think about it is this. You stop giving step-by-step commands like you would to a machine. Instead, you give a high-level goal like you would to a trusted colleague. You just delegate the outcome, and the AI figures out the plan and does all the steps on its own.
And this comparison just lays it all out, right? In the past, with conversational UIs, it was like using a tool. You ask, it answers. You command, it does one thing. But with a delegative UI, that's like managing a teammate. You assign a big, complex goal, and the AI goes off, makes a plan, and gets it done. It's a totally different relationship.
So what does this actually look like? Well, Google's documentation for Gemini has a perfect example. A programmer gives a high-level goal, refactor this function, which basically just means, hey, clean up this code and make it better. The AI agent doesn't just blindly rewrite it. No, it creates a plan, it uses tools to look at files and run tests, and then, and this is so important, it comes back and presents the changes for a human to review and say, yep, that looks good. And this goes way beyond just one single agent. Gartner is pointing to the rise of what they call multi-agent systems. This is where you have teams of specialized AIs collaborating with each other. They're not just tools anymore, they're basically digital employees. Suddenly, a tiny team of 3 people can manage the work of dozens. And that means the metric for success isn't about how much text an AI can generate, but how many real complex tasks it can complete. But this creates a fascinating new problem for us humans. Nielsen calls it the review paradox. And think about this for a second. It's often mentally harder to double-check and verify the quality of a complex task an AI did than it would have been to just do it yourself. Our jobs are shifting from doing the work to judging the work, and that's a whole different ballgame. All right, so let's build on that. If AI agents are doing the heavy lifting, what does that mean for how we interact with our software? Well, that brings us to our third big idea. The interface fades away. Let me ask you a question. What if your favorite apps just had no buttons? What if instead of a fixed screen of options, the software itself changed and adapted to what you needed in that exact moment? Well, that's the core of generative UI, or GenUI. The interface you see isn't designed and coded in stone anymore. It's actually drawn on the fly by an AI that's predicting what you want to do right now. The right interface just appears. And Nielsen gives us a brilliant example with a banking app. Right now, with a static UI, you want to dispute a charge, you have to click through 5 different menus. But with a generative UI, the AI sees you were just at a coffee shop, and it generates a simple, temporary screen with that one transaction and a giant dispute button. You tap it, and the screen is gone. No hunting, no navigating. This all feeds into this idea of zero UI. And this quote from Microsoft Advertising just says it all. In a zero UI world, presence beats pixels.
It's not about having the prettiest design anymore. It's about being intelligently helpful in the exact moment the user needs you.
Now, all of this might sound incredible, but it's not without some major consequences for society. And that brings us to Section 4, a new digital divide, a kind of subscription-based class system.
The numbers here really tell the story. Nielsen's estimates show that roughly 90% of people are using the free versions of AI, which are usually older, less powerful models. Only about 10% are paying for the premium stuff, the AIs that can do those powerful, multi-step agentic workflows we were just talking about. And the professional cost of being on the wrong side of that divide? It's huge. Nielsen says, failing to understand advanced AI workflows is the new I don't know how to use Excel. It's not a niche skill anymore. It's becoming a basic requirement for knowledge work. So you end up with two completely different realities. The premium user is learning these deep agentic workflows and seeing AI as a total game changer for their career. Meanwhile, the free tier user is just getting basic chatbot answers and timeouts, and they're walking away thinking AI is just an overhyped bubble. And the wild part is, they're both talking about something they call AI, but they're using two completely different levels of technology. Okay, time for our last big shift. We've covered software and work, but now we're talking about the real world. This is where the brain gets a body, with the rise of physical AI. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. It is happening right now. Sources like Gartner and Nielsen are pointing to things we can see today. Autonomous taxis from Waymo and Zoox are in more and more cities. We've got robot assistants in stores, robots helping care for the elderly, and even AI-powered drones fighting fires and saving lives. AI is officially breaking out of the screen. So when you put all of this together, what's the big takeaway? It's simple, really. The window for just treating AI as some interesting thing to watch from the sidelines, that window has slammed shut. It's here, it's real, and it's integrating into everything we do. This really sums up the mental shift we all need to make. We have to stop thinking of AI as just a tool and start seeing it as a teammate. We need to move from designing screens to designing entire systems. And maybe most importantly, our value shifts from executing tasks to applying human judgment. Which really leaves us all with one final crucial question to ask ourselves. In this new world, your value isn't just about the work you can produce anymore. It's about the quality of the judgment you can apply to the work an AI produces. So the only question that matters is, how are you going to adapt?